The Prohibition era of the 1920s and 1930s in the United States was a time of speakeasies, gangsters, and illegal alcohol trade. And no one personified this era more than Al Capone. Capone, the notorious gangster from Chicago, made a fortune through his involvement in organized crime, and his illegal alcohol trade was at the center of his criminal empire. With a vast network of smugglers, distributors, and bootleggers, Capone was able to supply his speakeasies with high-quality alcohol from around the world. But Capone's success in the illegal alcohol trade also relied on his use of violence, intimidation, and corruption to maintain his control over the market. In this video, we will take a closer look at how Al Capone made his fortune during Prohibition and how he was eventually brought down by the government's efforts to crack down on organized crime.
On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up.
During the time of Prohibition in the United States, Al Capone became one of the most notorious figures in American history. Capone was known for his involvement in organized crime, and his ruthless tactics helped him amass a fortune during the 1920s and 1930s. One of the key ways that Capone made his fortune was through the illegal sale and distribution of alcohol. Prohibition, which lasted from 1920 to 1933, made it illegal to manufacture, sell, or transport alcoholic beverages in the United States. This led to a rise in organized crime as gangs like Capone's took advantage of the demand for alcohol. Capone's empire was built on a network of speakeasies, illegal bars that served alcohol to customers in secret. These speakeasies were often hidden behind unmarked doors or in secret location, and they provided a steady stream of income for Capone and his associates. To supply his speakeasies with alcohol, Capone relied on a variety of smuggling techniques. He smuggled alcohol from Canada and Mexico, and he also set up his own distilleries to produce moonshine, a type of homemade alcohol that was popular during Prohibition. One of Capone's most successful smuggling operations involved transporting alcohol from Europe. During Prohibition, alcohol was still legal in some countries, and Capone took advantage of this by establishing connections with European suppliers. He would then transport the alcohol to Canada, where it could be smuggled into the United States. Capone's connections in Europe also allowed him to import high-quality alcohol, which he sold at a premium price. Al Capone's fortune during Prohibition grew exponentially due to the immense demand for alcohol and the high prices that bootleggers could charge. Capone's organization was estimated to be making as much as $100 million per year from the illegal sale of alcohol, which is an astronomical amount of money, especially when adjusted for inflation. To put this figure in perspective, it is worth noting that the revenue of many modern companies today still pales in comparison to the amount of money Capone was making during Prohibition. For example, in 2021, the popular ride-hailing company Uber reported revenue of $11.14 billion. This is less than one-tenth of the amount of money Capone was making during Prohibition. Capone's immense wealth allowed him to expand his criminal empire into other areas, such as illegal gambling, prostitution, and extortion. One of the key factors that contributed to Capone's success in the illegal alcohol trade was his ability to control the distribution of alcohol in Chicago. He had a vast network of bootleggers and distributors who would smuggle alcohol into the city and then distribute it to his speakeasies and other customers. Al Capone's success in the illegal alcohol trade was largely due to his ability to control the market through the use of violence and intimidation. He employed a group of enforcers known as the Chicago Outfit who would use threats and violence to eliminate rival bootleggers and ensure that Capone's organization remained dominant. One particularly violent incident that exemplifies Capone's approach to maintaining his control over the market occurred in 1929. This incident, known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, involved the murder of 7 members of a rival gang in Chicago. The victims were members of the North Side Gang, led by Bugs Moran, who were seen as a threat to Capone's dominance in the illegal alcohol trade. Capone ordered his enforcers to dress up as police officers and lure the members of the North Side Gang to a warehouse in Chicago. Once there, they were ambushed and shot to death. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre was one of the most violent incidents of the Prohibition era, and it shocked the public and drew increased scrutiny from law enforcement officials. However, Capone's control over the illegal alcohol trade remained largely intact, and he continued to profit from his criminal activities. Capone's use of violence and intimidation was not limited to his dealings in the illegal alcohol trade. He also used similar tactics to maintain his control over other illegal activities, including gambling and prostitution. Capone was involved in several illegal activities, including smuggling, distribution, and the production of his own alcohol in his own breweries and distilleries, which he owned. One of his most well-known breweries was situated in the town of Cicero, which is a suburb of Chicago. There, he utilized the labor of hundreds of people in order to manufacture beer and other alcoholic beverages. It was essential to Capone's success in the illegal booze trade that he was able to avoid getting caught by the authorities. He had a network of corrupt authorities and police officers who would ignore the unlawful acts he was engaged in. Also, he would utilize bribes and other strategies to avoid being apprehended and prosecuted for his crimes. Despite having an immense amount of wealth and influence, Al Capone was finally brought down by the efforts of the government to crack down on organized crime. These efforts led to Capone's downfall. In addition to his conviction for tax evasion, he was accused of a broad variety of other criminal actions, such as murder and racketeering. His conviction for tax evasion was the only one of these actions that led to a conviction. In summary, Al Capone amassed his fortune during the time of Prohibition by taking advantage of the demand for alcoholic beverages. In addition to smuggling alcohol into the country from Canada, Mexico, and Europe, he also produced moonshine in his own illicit distilleries. Because of the connections he had in Europe, Al Capone was able to bring in alcohol of a superior quality, which he then resold at a profit. Throughout the 1920s and 1930s in the United States, he was one of the wealthiest and most feared individuals thanks to the speakeasy and illegal business empire he built for himself. And with that, the video is over. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.